Today we are going to review, what is this? This is a Hebrew Nut Brown Ale, a rich and robust dark brown ale. I've never actually heard about this company. It's supposed to be a company based out of Saratoga Springs, New York, conceived in San Francisco. I've never had this beer. I was actually just in New York a while ago, and if I would have known, I would have possibly gone out and checked out this brewery, but since I've never heard of it, then I guess I'm just gonna resort to trying it in bottle for now and see how it tastes. Next time I'll take a trip out to New York, which I really don't have anything planned until maybe 2 years from now when I'm gonna be going up to a wedding out in Connecticut. So I might just hop over, get on the train and go over to New York. But that is only if this beer makes me wanna go do it. So anyways, let's do the sound test of the beer first. I like that sound. I don't know why. Let's go ahead and pour this out. First things first, appearance. It is a brown ale. When I look at it through the light, even though it is a little bit darker than amber ale, red ale, same thing, the beer actually looks pretty clear. So that's a good thing. Doesn't look like it's very heavily carbonated. I can see the carbonation, well, just the head retention is not too much. Who ever called the foam head? It's weird. I feel weird going on saying like, oh, look, I didn't get good head this time. That's gonna sound kind of weird. Whatever. The foam here, head retention, doesn't seem to be very well. There's a little bit of foam when I poured it in, but it just seemed to dissipate fairly fast. Okay, aroma. Does smell a little chocolatey, which is supposed to be the aroma of a brown ale. Not bad. I like the body a lot. It's got really good body. It's not too dense. It's just right. I like it. I think they may have overdone the roasted barley. Usually roasted barley is used to add just the color, and I am tasting a little bit of that roasted barley. It's just kind of porter-like. They may have just overdone the roasted barley a little bit, because I do taste the roasted barley somewhat. And I'm not sure if it's supposed to be showing up that much in this beer, but it's not a bad taste. It's really good. I just feel like the roasted barley overtakes the chocolate flavor a little bit on this beer. Then again, the description they have here is it's a rich and robust dark brown ale. So maybe that's what they were going for, and if it was, then maybe they achieved what they were looking for. Blah blah blah. I like the beer actually. Not exactly my idea of a brown ale, but then again, this is supposed to be a dark brown ale, so I guess the beer is just getting close to a porter. It's just not going to be a porter because it doesn't have enough sweetness, the caramel sweetness that a porter should have. So if anything, I'm guessing that they brewed this with a lot of chocolate malt, and they went very, very generously with their roasted barley, which it's giving the beer a slightly dry finish. Yeah, bitterness on the hops is fairly underneath the malt, as they say it, so it doesn't overtake the malt. It just balances out the beer fairly well. So yeah, overall, I kind of like this beer. So maybe when I go up to Connecticut, I may just head out to New York and visit the brewery and try some more of their other beers. So maybe I just lucked out with their best beer, or maybe they have some really, really good beers. Anyone here is from New York and you want to send me a list of some of their beers, again, this is Brew, the chosen beer. Or if you've had any of their beers other than the dark brown ale, let me know and I'll be happy to look for it down here. I can't guarantee that when I find it. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. Beer tastes good. The beer actually gives you a little bit of a warm feeling, and I don't know if that's because I had a beer before I drank this one. I'm really, really liking this beer. It's got just like the perfect balance, nice dry finish at the end. I mean, I can feel it in my palate, like up above here, where it's just that dryness, but it's like a smooth feeling, so it's just nice. I like this beer. I do have to say, if you are into sweet beers, this may not be the beer for you, because it is overall a little bit towards the bitter side, and it's not bitter coming from the hops, it's bitter coming from some of the dark malts. So I don't know if they may have used some black malt as well to give some of that feeling, but definitely it's got roasted barley. And like I said, on a typical brown ale, normally what should dominate should be the chocolate malt, should be more of a chocolate taste to the beer. And some roasted barley is usually used for color adjustment, but the roasted barley should, or the flavor coming from the roasted barley should never really overtake the flavor of the beer. It should mostly be the chocolate that stands out, but in this case, it seems like the roasted barley overtakes some of that flavor, but it's just slightly. And I don't know if that's what makes it so good, because one thing I've noticed whenever I'm putting together recipes to brew my own beers is that subtlety is really what's the key to brewing a good beer. Is you want to give the beer a flavor. If you do it in a very subtle way, it just seems to taste better. And well, they seem to have done a good job at putting together this beer. So like I said, usually it's the roasted barley that stands out the most. Let's see, for even the aroma, you can smell some of that roasted barley, although you can smell more of the regular malt, which really tells you that that's the thing about it. It's just a subtle flavor. And usually with darker malts, it doesn't take much malt to actually overtake some of the lighter malts. It's a dry finish. If you like dark beers, this is possibly a really good beer that you may want to try. It's got a nice touch at the end. It's hard for me to describe it. You can feel it up in the palate. It's just kind of dry. It's that bitterness coming from a dark malt, but it's not a harsh bitterness. It's just like a nice bitterness that balances out some of the sweetness from the beer, and it's definitely not coming from the hops. And if it is, then it's a really smooth hop that they may have used. So if you've had this beer, I would like to know what you think about this beer. I want to know what differences are, because I think that when it comes to trying out beer, everyone has different tastes, everyone has different preferences, and me coming out here and saying, hey, this beer is good, this beer is not good, this beer sucks, this beer is great, phenomenal, whatever my description of the beer is, I think that someone else will come in and will taste it, and they can go and say it's the opposite of what I said. They can come in and say, you have no idea what you're talking about, this beer just plain sucks. I like this beer, you may like it as well, you may not like it, who knows? Overall, I'm just trying to describe this beer as objectively as I can. Obviously, brown ale is supposed to be chocolate, but this is called a dark brown ale, which really gives you a hint that they use some of the darker malts, and you can actually taste the roasted barley. So let me know if you had any beers by Schmaltz Brewing Company other than their dark brown ale, and I'll see if I can go find it. And then, if you want, send me a video response or leave me a comment in the comment section below. Wherever. All right, here it goes. I give this beer a thumbs up. This will be a beer that I will definitely like to go back and buy again. Brown ales are not exactly my favorite beer styles, but this beer is actually pretty good. And if I ever feel like trying a brown ale for some reason, then this will be one of the beers that I will put on my list and go shop. I don't actually make a shopping list, so just in case you thought I made a shopping list and go to the liquor store. Who does that? All right, that's it for today. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time.